We enter into our viewing of the Batman with this cultural bias about our relationship with wealth and the wealthy.
Whoa.
Whoa.
We enter with that? No, that's your cultural bias, dude. Don't be throwing me in your we, okay? Some of us understand how capitalism works.
It's funny because, they always use Star Trek as like the socialist utopia example.
Uh-huh.
Star Trek isn't even remotely a socialist utopia. It's
Yeah.
because they only say that because it's like, oh, in the Star Trek fictional universe, because they have replicators and cheap energy.
Superabundance.
Yeah, and superabundance, there's no currency, there's no money, essentially. But the culture, even in an organization like Starfleet, which is a military organization, so there's obviously a lot of like group cohesion. You have to do things for the good of the crew and all this stuff. Even with all that going on, it's a super ultra highly individualistic culture. The whole thing is about what you as an individual can do to excel and better yourself.
Totally.
It's like Star Trek is so steeped in liberalism. It's like it's just dripping with liberalism.
Even like the bartender there in the situation. Like I've worked as a bartender before and it's fun. It's totally fun. And if you're a person that just likes to talk to people, I could see someone just, doing that because it's a role to fill that is satisfying. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess really where the problem is like the shit jobs that nobody wants to do. But we're eventually, and I assume like in the Star Trek universe, they've kind of automated away all the shit jobs that nobody wants to do, right?
I will see. It's funny too, because I was going to say part of the way Star Trek even functions as a story is that the writers are not creative enough to even figure out how the world even could possibly work with no currency.
Right.
So they never explain it. It's never explained how any of it works.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
There's your capitalistic realism. They can't even use their imagination to figure it out.
Who's working in the dilithium crystal mines? That's what I want to know.
Well, actually,
it's got to be robots, right?
Here's my Star Trek nerdiness. There was an episode. I don't think it wasn't the humans doing this. I think it was a Voyager episode. So some alien race or something. They were using holograms to do all the shit jobs, to mine and run, garbage trucks.
As you
and all
would,
stuff.
Yes.
Right. But it was a problem because the holograms, they're so intelligent that they're basically like artificial life. And so they basically have like holographic slaves.
Oh no. I guess that's the problem.
Yep.
Can't you just make them dumber?
I guess.
A presupposition that hold up the narrative and a presupposition that could be deconstructed. Isn't this fun? Talking about art, seeing how art relates to reality, trying not to get too defensive about it. I enjoy
that he said that line just like you would say, when you're on a date and you can tell that your date is just having a terrible time and you're like, isn't this fun? I feel like I'm on that date with him and I'm just like, actually, no, this is not fun. This is not fun at all. Isn't this fun how I'm shoehorning capitalism into my video about Batman?
This is like your date takes you to like a poetry. She's like, oh,
yes.
I have this really awesome place. And you go there and you think it's like, oh, it's like a bar or a restaurant. It's like, no. It's like a poetry reading slam. Where a guy's going to read you like his super far left socialist poetry on stage. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, what have I gotten myself into? Jesus Christ. Yeah. You're definitely, this is not fun.
Enjoy this. Let's talk about film criticism.
What's happening?
It's
oh,
dramatic.
Shit. Hey, well, we're fast forwarding past that music.
The music, yeah, who knows?
Information.
Look, why does he do this to us?
Okay, hold on.
He's doing it to us deliberately.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
just talk over it.
No.
Okay.
No, don't do it.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
It's hilarious because He's so anti-capitalist that he's like, I'm even going to sabotage my videos. Is he really, he can't find some alternative? Is that what all this is about? Like he wants to use music and the music keeps getting
Oh, hey, we don't. It could be copyright
claimed?
free music. Who knows? Who knows?
This is not, this is like a famous song. I recognize
Is
this
it?
song
Oh,
instantly.
I can't even. I can barely even hear it.
Yeah, it's a famous song.
Okay.
This video is going to get copyright claimed if you do the song. I don't care. It's your
Well, We'll just talk over it till he starts talking.
okay.
A
Blah, blah, blah,
structuralist
blah.
approach to film criticism puts more emphasis on the fixed nature of language, conventions, and code to convey particular information. A structuralist analysis relies on the premise that communication has a specific goal or meaning, and that finding that meaning through signifiers and the signified is the essence of analysis.
Is this where FD signifier gets his name? Because he is a big time
Maybe?
communist. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a big time like socialist queer theory.
Yes.
I was arguing in the comments with him about trans people. Did he read this or it didn't seem? It seemed like he was saying something else. And
He didn't read this. No.
yeah, what the fuck, dude? You put words on the screen and then you talk and say something completely different.
Right.
What is the point?
That's a good question.
Look,
Maybe to supplement what he's saying.
let me.
If I'm to be charitable.
Maybe this is why he's anti-capitalist, because he's just like he doesn't want to improve his videos. He's like, what the fuck? Structuralism purpose that human
Structuralism proposes
proposes God
that
damn it.
human culture can be understood by a structure modeled on language, connected units, signs, or of reality, the signified, and abstract ideas, the signifier.
Okay, so this is just like symbolic language.
Is that what that means? I don't even understand what that means.
Well, I mean that's a pretty foundational idea to humanity. Like we're a symbolic creature. We deal in abstracts. Other animals, I don't think, do that. So,
Let's see. According to Wikipedia, structuralism is a general theory of culture and methodology that implies that elements of human culture must be understood by way of their relationship to a broader system. It works to uncover the structures that underline all things that humans do, think, perceive, and feel.
I mean, I do think humanity is nested systems. Yeah,
Right.
I believe in that.
List analysis relies on the premise that communication has a specific goal or meaning, and that finding that meaning through signifiers and the signified is the essence of analysis.
Okay, so he's basically saying he's looking for meaning using symbolism. That's his analysis.
Here is that tree you
Okay, tree is the signifier, tree is the signified. Please, hold on. Vosh needs to see this. Water over here, lake and river over here. Like he needs to understand this.
Right.
It's very simple. Didn't they teach you this in gender studies, Vosh? Come on.
you've seen before. A structuralist analysis of the Batman would emphasize how Batman's character arc fits into the pre-existing conventions of film, how well it adheres to this, and how much it subverts it. A post-structuralist analysis to film criticism recognizes that words and images we choose to convey information are imperfect, and that this communication contains contradictions.
What the fuck? It's so
Okay, so
annoying.
it's weird because what he wrote is far clearer than what he just said.
Right. It's so annoying.
The slide says post-structural film analysis often emphasizes cultural biases and presuppositions, particularly how these contradictions shape what the film conveys.
Yeah, what is that? Can we dumb that down for
Well,
me?
I think he's about to explain it,
Okay.
and it's really, really
In
stupid.
layman's terms? Good.
Yes.
Post-structuralist approach to film criticism might emphasize the pre-existing cultural biases of the creators of the film, as well as the presumption of those cultural biases in the audience. For example, the Batman addresses race and class, but spends more time ignoring grievances related to race and class than it does acknowledging these grievances. Mere absence is not immediately meaningful, but absence as contrast might be. For example,
I just as a pragmatist, what is the purpose of acknowledging the grievances?
It depends what you're trying to do.
How is that going to make the movie going experience any better?
It's yeah, we have to listen, Adam. All of our art, everything we do
Mm.
has to improve society. And by improve society, I mean drag society to be more socialist.
I
So
just,
if the movie doesn't do that, then it's a bad movie.
I like the whole idea that you can't have a black actress on screen without, like a paragraph in the bottom right hand corner and says, "Oh, slavery happened, by the way, America sucks." It's like,
No, no,
what?
no. See, when Catwoman is black in the Batman,
Right.
basically there should have been a scene. There should be a bunch of scenes where every time she interacts with like a white person, they're like, "Ugh, I can't believe I have to interact with this black person."
Oh my God,
You know,
that's
to signify
awful.
the how racist, white people are and how racist society is.
That's not how
I
you
mean,
acknowledge the grievance. That's how
I
you
don't.
like embolden the
Yeah, I
grievance.
know. I don't remember. Oh no, no. What this is what you need. You need a scene where when Batman is like, you know how Batman is yelling at Catwoman for being a criminal,
Hmm.
and then she gives a story about like how fucked up her childhood was,
Right.
and how her fucked up childhood stemmed from the fact that basically she's spoiler warning. Well, I won't give a spoiler, but basically she's someone's daughter, and she had, they basically abandoned her, and her mother was killed, and she basically lived as an orphan.
Hmm.
Okay. This is Renegade Cut's problem. The sad sap backstory for Catwoman that creates her as a character has absolutely nothing to do with her race
Oh, you're right.
whatsoever. It has to just do with that bad things happened to her mother,
Yep.
okay, and her own self. And you could say it was associated with the class because presumably her mother was poor and she was poor, but it had
She
nothing to
was
do with her
working
race.
class.
Right. Well, she's a prostitute. I don't know if that counts as
Hmm.
working class, but okay.
Well, that's what they say, working girl. Don't you know that's what
Okay,
it
there you
means?
go. Yeah, there you go. But no, so what Renegade Cut would have liked is, well, you see, the reason that my mom had to be a prostitute was because her parents were redlined by the racist white people in 1955 and they couldn't buy a house in the good areas. And then, they lost all their wealth because it was destroyed when, Tulsa, Oklahoma was blown up by racists, and that's why
Right.
she
Yeah.
became a prostitute. And like he wants like this whole back, like it has to connect to her race. And the fact that her race is, I don't even think ever mentioned at all, if I recall correctly, in Batman bothers him.
Yeah. That's not acknowledging your privilege.
Right.
Ruin the whole movie for him. But
Right.
thank goodness, because the last thing I want to see in my Batman movie is that kind of garbage. Seriously, like what the hell? Nobody
There's a
wants to see
scene.
that crap.
No, no. And it's so funny because there's a scene in the first episode of She-Hulk that a lot of you have probably seen. And it's the worst scene in all of She-Hulk so far.
Hmm.
And basically, Jennifer Waters, whatever her name
Hmm.
is yelling at Bruce because Bruce Banner's all like, you need to learn to control your Hulk powers. It's not safe for you to go interact with society. And she's like, I already can control my Hulk powers. And the reason I can is because I'm a woman. And women are naturally better at controlling their anger because women are subjected to catcalls and mansplaining. So
Yep.
therefore, I have much more experience than you, Bruce Banner, guy who's battled with anger and being the Hulk for 15 years and has lived a life that's so horrible that you basically had to run away to various third world countries and tried to kill yourself, but was unable to because you were the Hulk. You don't know how to control your anger, but I do because I'm a white woman who's been oppressed by catcalling and mansplaining.
Yep.
And that's what he wants. He wants every fucking movie to have like that speech that the character gives about their fucking, oppression.
It so takes me out of the movie. It's not really good.
Yes. Yes, because we can intrinsically feel the giant shoehorn just
Yes.
it's just like a giant flaccid floppy dick that just comes out of the sky and it rests across your face and you're like, can you please not rest this giant floppy flappid shoehorn penis across my face? And it's like, no, you must understand your privilege and oppression, blah 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 blah. And they want that in every movie.
They do. They want you to feel the pain of the world.